Thank you so much. Warm welcome to all of you in the building and out there listening to EA Connect Days. It's been quite exciting so far. Very inspiring on the Bonn movie, I thought, for somebody that lives in Bonn for most of my life, with very few exceptions. I'd really like that. So I got two topics on the menu for you today. The first one is going to be, or the second one is going to be forward-looking, as almost indicated by the date, which is a little off here. But I'll start looking a bit backward. I do want to talk you through some of the nice functionality that we have released in the past couple months. It's slightly forward-looking. It covers everything until the end of the quarter. And it's so many things that we have covered and have released to you that I'm only going to be able to pick and choose a few of them in today's talk. Thankfully, many others are going to be covered or have been covered in some of the speakers that we have here today. Most prominently, BTM. André announced that. I'm very excited to see that come to life. I've personally been working on it for probably a year now, from the first thinking and design and conceptualization. We've been coding for over 8 months on that. So it's going to be very exciting to see that being released on September 30th. We covered Aptio and Lucidchart with the partnerships. Werner is in the poor position to be the last speaker today, coming up in a few hours on integration API, so I'm not going to do too much on that. And landscape report is something that I think Johan is also going to cover. So let me start to dive deep into self-configuration. That is a set of functionality that we have starting to release in a few tranches since May. It allows you to change and customize your default data setup as a workspace administrator. So we've always been customizable, but so far you had to come to us, ask for help, and basically we got the job done, and then sometimes in a day, sometimes in a couple of days, we would deliver the change to you. That is now possible immediately as self-configuration to you as the customer. And it covers everything from fields and relations, subsections, sections, the namings and translations, change and ordering. So anything that you need in order to set up a fact sheet, to customize the fact sheet, to set it up for your own purposes, including the use in view. So that is the reporting functionality, and the use in filter for any of the additional properties that you define. So that gives us, I think, some nice business value. It allows you to instantly make changes. It allows you to iterate really quickly. It provides you with focus on what is important on your organization. So we're very happy to see that come to life. I do want to walk you through how that looks like in a little bit of detail here. So it's basically functionality that comes off the individual fact sheet. So you can go here to configuration, and you get something that looks almost like what you see is what you get on the fact sheet. You can set up sections in here. You can put in fields. You can define translations. So here's an example of a section on information security with GDPR as one of the subsections. You see putting in a number of fields. The fields give you a lot of detail, so you can put in the type of field that you have. For single or multi-select fields, it allows you to define the values. It allows you to define additional help text on the information. You can localize it into different languages. As you know, since beginning of the year, we support now 4 different languages with English, German, French, and Spanish. You can define whether it's to be used in reports as a field. You can define whether it should show up as a filter. You can, of course, move fields around. You can create sections and subsections. You can also remove them if you don't like what you see. So you see there's a lot of speed in how to apply these changes in a few minutes and actually try them out. All of that is reflected on the left-hand side in the sort of the preview of the fact sheet. And it's only when you then start to save the changes that you get an audit history that outlines all of the things that you're just about to apply. And then the moment that you save them, they become active in the workspace. What we have not yet done is an ability to do that on a sandbox and transfer. So if that is a need, please get in contact with us if you want to ship larger changes. Now, if you then move to the actual fact sheet, you can see the new section appearing with all of the fields we've just defined. And here's also the proof point that it shows nicely up on the report as expected as one of the what we call the views, the ability to color any of your landscape reports or matrix reports or any of the other ones. So quite happy to see that functionality being shipped. The next step we're going to be looking at is more on the reporting area, where today you would still need to come to us in order to set up new reports. Say you want to have a process landscape, for example. I think we don't ship that out of the box. But that is something that we want to also add into self-service as one of the next steps to come. Second deep dive is around surveys. That is something that André touched base today already earlier. I think we have made a big qualitative step forward here to improve the way surveys actually work. So what we have done is introduce what we call a fact sheet element. Fact sheet element is the ability to define a question where the answer is served by either a tag group or a subscription or a fact sheet field. So it is in the usual survey question response type fashion, but the data that you pick is directly written back into the fact sheet as soon as the survey is finalized. It still comes with the usual functionality that you can see the survey results, you can export them as usual, but I think it gives a lot of additional flexibility and in all honesty closes some long-awaited holes well, the holes are not long-awaited, the closing has been long-awaited in the functionality that we deliver with this feature. Also quick outlook here, we're going to do a reminder functionality. It's another frequently requested feature that is currently in work, and we expect to be shipped by end of the month. So one of the promises for today here. So if you look at the business value that we believe that provides to you, it allows you to collaboratively collect and assess data. We believe that survey is a great instrument to ensure initial data quality, to ensure completeness of the data, and to keep your workspace up to date. So it's one of the true important collaborative functionalities that we provide in the tool, and that has now greatly been enhanced with the recent feature additions. The third topic I'm going to cover in deep dive is our self-service portal. That has been launched in June, but we have seen a number of additions in terms of functionality over the past couple of weeks. And the idea of the self-service portal is that it provides you with an easy way to take some of the data that you have in LeanIX and provide easy access to a much broader community within your enterprise. There's a number of different use cases. A key one is what we call the application portal, so a way to distribute information on the available applications, or sometimes a subset. We've seen customers that use that as a mobile app catalog, for example. We have seen customers that use that as an API portal, where the elements that you serve in the portal are interfaces, all the way into use cases like microservices catalogs. It's fully configurable and customizable. What we have achieved since the launch is that the rather complex configuration is now in a nice UI. I'm going to show you some of the details in a minute. It allows you to very nicely link that also into external workflows like in Jira, and also now connect it into the LeanIX workspace, which is another addition that we have released fairly recently. So we see great value in that, and I can only encourage you to use that functionality. It's part of all of our products. It's included in the base package. It can significantly increase your IT productivity. It can significantly broaden the reach of people that can consume the information, so it makes knowledge centrally accessible. And because it's so in broad reach, will likely also allow you to reduce some of the support requests. Just to walk you through some of the recent additions that we have done. The self-service portal is accessible in the admin section, so for any workspace administrator. You can very easily create a new one. You can have as many portals as you like. The portal consists really of two areas. One is the main search area that you can configure in here. So it has a title area, it has a search box, it has a set of filters that you can configure that are based on tags or on relations. It has a number of links that you can customize, as well as some possibility to put in Markdown as little pop-up links. So it allows you to document and provide additional, more static information. You see here the configuration of the filter options. We do have a concept of a status, so that allows you to define, for example, whether an application is approved and you can directly access it, or whether it has been disapproved and you should not use it. And with that little setup, you get a very nice UI that is easy and simple to use, where you can quickly distribute that to a broad audience. We do allow users outside of the LeanIX world to actually access that as one of the configuration options. And allows you to very quickly narrow in and filter. The second part is a detailed section, and that is what is shown here as a configuration, where you can, for each fact sheet, whether it's an application or the interface or whatever type you picked, you can configure what type of information you want to surface to the consumer. So that is a title, that is usually a description, but it can be things like a subscription, and additional fields, resources, and many more things. The portal also, as one of the recent features, is fully customizable in terms of look and feel. And we have now full localization support. So if you want to put that in Spanish or French or Swedish, feel free to do so. It's fully accessible. And you see, from an end-user perspective, it provides you with a very nice, easy-to-consume rendition, with an ability to tie in links like an ordering form that would sit outside LeanIX, but allows you to provide an easy central place to basically start the user journey here. So quite exciting. As I said, feel free to get help from our side in terms of configuration, but it's not really hard to use. The last deep dive I want to do for today is on missing in Technopedia, or missing data in Technopedia, as we call it. And that addresses one of the complaint areas where we have seen a number of reports around lack of data freshness or lack of data completeness in the Flexera Technopedia data catalog, to a degree that we felt it's important that we provide an additional layer of solution in here. So with this functionality, you'll be able to report to us any missing information or outdated information, and we have set up a data research team that will research that information on your behalf and feed the information back into your workspace. So that will come as two different processes. One that is existing today as we speak, where you can ring up your customer success manager and provide that information, and we'll research. Typically, we'll try to deliver in overnight. We'll give you a 7-day SLA, but typically it's much quicker. And we'll provide the updated information within that time frame. By the end of the month, we'll have that as an in-tool support. So there is the missing in Technopedia link that exists today that will feed directly into that LeanIX data service that will allow us to very quickly react. And as an outcome, we'll serve the information directly onto the IT component that you requested it from. So there's no additional steps necessary. Good. I'll just lose one word on this one here. André has shown that in his talk. We have done, or we significantly want to invest in report navigation. We have done a design, and we're looking for feedback. So if you're interested to get early involvement and an early insight in what we are currently attempting to do and help us shape what we do, please let us know. So there's an email address. We would love to get your feedback onto the design, as that's one of the key topics in Q4 for implementation, and we want to make sure that we hit the mark when we implement this time. Good, that leads me over into the more forward-looking part, where I do want to talk you through our vision and strategy for the upcoming months, and also give you an outlook on what we're actually going to be working on in Q4. This one here gives you sort of our high-level pictures, the way we think about our product or products. So there's the two product suites with the EAS, Enterprise Architecture Suite, and Cloud Native with the different modules. And what you see here in orange is the key investment areas for the next 4 to 6 months. BTM, as you know, is going to be released in September 30th, but that is not going to be the end of the journey. So we do know we're going to keep investing into BTM quite significantly. We ship the time machine for the first report with a landscape now. There's more reports to come. And there's a number of additional additions that we have identified already. But of course, we want to be listening very carefully to your feedback as you start using the new module, and hence have reserved significant capacity from a roadmap perspective to invest into BTM. One of the key strategic themes, and André mentioned that in his talk earlier today, that will really become sort of a major area of focus in 2021 for us, is to become more actionable. And that is a recognition that, of course, LeanIX provides you with a lot of insights, but today we're fairly descriptive. So the insights that you generate, the learnings that you take out of LeanIX, you can't really trigger any action from within the tool today. And that is a strategic direction that we want to take that really serve a broad range of different actions as an outcome. And that range from approval workflows and decision initialization and support on the EA side into standard EA processes like app rationalization, maturity-based planning, and tech risk issue management, where we want to provide better guidance as a step-by-step workflow through the tool, into something that we think of as issue management, where on the EA side, it could be standards management and enforcement, or on the tech risk, any issues that come up. But also on the cloud native side, missing tags that you want to follow up and initiate some work as a result of that insight. Cost alerting that you want to react to, security, auditing, and governance use cases where you detect certain shortcomings and you want to react to them, all the way into things like open source license management or vulnerability management, and many more. So that is clearly reflected on our roadmap themes that we have put out for the next, say, 16 months until the end of 2021, which is sort of what's captured in this slide here. So there's 3 major parts to it. We do want to keep investing in what we call excellence in detail. So that's all of the things that you report back to us. It's the things that we learned from you as a customer, shortcomings in the current product, and things like interactive creation of reports, follow through with self-configuration, creating new fact sheets and managing relations is another gap that we have today. More functionality around surveys, search and filter usability is another area where we get quite a bit of feedback and want to improve on. Better handling of attributes on relations is a key area, as well as improved mobile app support. So we are looking at redoing the current iPhone app and also extending into Android as one of the strategic themes that will be coming. Build out our products. So that refers to additional broad ranges of functionality, whether that's sort of BTM with the next wave. You have seen SaaS intelligence for a while in our slides. That's something that we're going to take serious in 2021. Ecosystem connectivity is really important. We understand and know that you need and want to integrate into a broad range of different systems. So we're going to invest into connectors. We're going to invest into partnerships like with Lucidchart and further deepen that. Aptio is a good example. I want to point out here BI integration is one of the key things that we're committed to do, where we want to have a out-of-the-box integration into Power BI, Qlik, and Tableau. Calculated fields is a key functionality, and cloud diagram generation would sort of all fit in what we think of as build out the products. But then the new theme is become actionable, and that will be around sort of an abstraction of the use case that I talked about. We think of it as rules and policy management, so an ability to define what an issue is, to automatically detect issues, whether that's tech obsolescence, whether that's a security issues in cloud intelligence, or many of the other things. We want to be able to surface them, but then also want to provide functionality to prioritize and route these issues. So that will come with deep integration into systems like Jira that allows you to initiate certain works. It can serve as a feeder into BTM when it's things that are of larger range, and also, it will serve into notifications, into Slack and MS Teams as one of the additional functionalities. I know I'm running out of time. I have one last slide that I do want to show, and that's about what is the more concrete things that we're going to be working on by the end of the year. And I do want to just highlight a few things that you see in here. It's BTM Next Wave with a few things that are listed out here. The Jira integration, that's something that we have available as a prototype today, and will release at least for the cloud version of Jira in Q4. And the last one, and even that's part of our roadmap, is an expansion in terms of footprint, where we want to provide you with data centers in the UK and in Germany. Today we serve most of our German customers out of the Netherlands, but that are also frequent requests that we get. And that concludes my presentation for today. Thank you so much. And I think there's not going to be too much time on questions, so
no,
I'll probably
so
take
sorry.
the words out of your mouth.
I'm so sorry. But thank you very much, Jan.